In recent months, the United States has found itself at the center of an escalating national debate, driven by one of the most ambitious and controversial immigration enforcement proposals in its history. Former President Donald Trump has returned to the political spotlight, promising to launch what he calls the largest domestic deportation operation ever undertaken. His plan: to deport up to 18 million undocumented immigrants, fundamentally altering the nation's immigration landscape and sparking fierce responses from local governments, business leaders, international partners, and immigrant communities themselves. The scale of this proposal is staggering. Estimates from the Department of Homeland Security suggest that there are between 11 and 18 million undocumented immigrants living in the United States today. Trump's vision, as articulated during campaign rallies and policy briefings, is to remove as many of these individuals as possible. The tools he has outlined are both sweeping and aggressive. Mass raids coordinated across multiple states, expedited deportation procedures designed to reduce the time between arrest and removal, and a dramatic expansion of the powers held by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. But this plan goes far beyond traditional federal enforcement. In a move that has drawn both applause and alarm, the Trump team has proposed overriding the protections offered by sanctuary cities, municipalities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Chicago, that have limited their cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Trump's administration has made it clear that, if necessary, it would deploy National Guard troops to assist in the arrests and detentions of undocumented immigrants, a step that blurs the line between law enforcement and military intervention on American soil. One of the cornerstones of the proposed crackdown is the reinstatement and expansion of programs like Secure Communities, which allow local law enforcement to share fingerprint and arrest information directly with ICE. Such programs were curtailed or modified in previous years, but under Trump's plan, they would return with renewed vigor. The intent is clear: to make every encounter with local law enforcement a potential pathway to deportation. However, the logistical and legal challenges to such an undertaking are immense. Civil rights advocates, legal scholars, and even some law enforcement officials warn that attempting to deport millions of people in such a short time frame risks overwhelming the nation's already backlogged immigration courts. There are concerns that due process could be sacrificed for the sake of expediency, with individuals denied the opportunity to plead their cases, seek legal counsel, or appeal their removals. The constitutional implications are profound. In February 2025, a coalition of sanctuary cities, led by San Francisco and joined by 16 other jurisdictions, filed suit against the Trump administration, seeking an injunction against measures that would deny federal funds to cities that refuse to cooperate with ICE. In April, a federal judge sided with the plaintiffs, issuing an injunction that prevented the administration from making the receipt of federal funds conditional on enforcement cooperation. This legal tug-of-war is likely to continue, with cases destined for the Supreme Court and a growing patchwork of state and local policies either defying or supporting federal mandates. Perhaps nowhere is the standoff more visible than in Los Angeles, a city with over 1 million undocumented residents. Local officials, including Mayor Eric Garcetti, have vowed to resist federal deportation efforts, emphasizing their commitment to protecting all Angelenos, regardless of immigration status. The city's refusal to cooperate with ICE has made it a flashpoint in the national debate. Protests have erupted throughout Los Angeles, with demonstrators clashing with law enforcement and federal agents. The deployment of National Guard troops has heightened tensions, raising questions about the use of military forces in domestic law enforcement and prompting a new round of legal challenges. Beyond the legal and political theater, there are profound economic implications. Recent research from the Dallas Federal Reserve warns that the removal of millions of workers could reduce the nation's GDP by up to 1.5 percentage points over the next 3 years. Many of those targeted for deportation work in industries critical to the U.S. economy: agriculture, construction, hospitality, and healthcare, among others. The prospect of sudden labor shortages has alarmed business leaders and economists alike, who warn that the ripple effects could disrupt supply chains, drive up prices, and slow economic growth. Major financial institutions have also expressed skepticism about the plan's feasibility, citing logistical constraints, the sheer volume of court cases, and the likelihood of industrial pushback. Internationally, the Trump administration's strategy includes seeking agreements with third countries, including South Sudan and Rwanda, to accept deported individuals. These arrangements have raised serious concerns about the safety and legality of sending people to countries where they have no prior ties, and where security and infrastructure may be inadequate to support them. Human rights advocates warn that such measures could violate international law and expose deportees to significant risks. All of this unfolds against a backdrop of deep political and social division. For supporters, Trump's plan represents a long overdue effort to enforce laws and protect American sovereignty. For opponents, it is a draconian response that threatens families, communities, and the nation's values. The resulting unrest is palpable, with protests in the streets, lawsuits in the courts, and fierce debates in Congress and on cable news. The question now facing the country is not just whether such a sweeping deportation plan can be implemented, but whether it should be. The logistical hurdles are daunting, the legal challenges formidable, and the social consequences profound. For millions of families, the uncertainty is agonizing. For the nation, the stakes are nothing less than a fundamental test of its principles, identity, and future. As the debate rages on, America stands at a crossroads, poised between two starkly different visions for its future, with the lives of millions hanging in the balance. The coming months will determine not only the fate of this ambitious deportation drive, but also the direction of the nation's immigration policy for years to come. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this complex issue. Let us know your perspective in the comments below. Your voice matters and helps drive important conversations. If you found this content informative, consider supporting the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing with others who might be interested. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you in-depth coverage on topics that shape our world. Thank you for being part of our community and for staying informed.